Episode, Nobody Beats the House.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour or so. On Wednesdays, we look back at the week and try to offer some awareness and some increased reach for some of the people that are out there doing their thing with a focus on the Second Amendment. So let's get into it. We're going to bring up on the screen for people that are following this live. We'll bring up our screen here so you can follow along. We're going to be looking at the description of this video. So welcome everybody who's showing up live. I'm going to open the screen up there and zoom in a little bit so we can read what's on the screen. And if we go through the description of this video, we'll find a couple of different things that we'll be chatting about tonight. First off, this is episode 1,400 episodes of this show. We started it when Biker Bob came down from Canada in 2016 one time. And since he was down there, I was like, hey, why don't we start doing something? So we started doing this show. And since then, it's become illegal for Canadians to do podcasts. So he had to dodge, to bow out. But he's with us in spirit. Most of the stuff we see at the beginning of the show is Biker Bob, by the way. Back in the day, we had a larger production budget, so we staged a lot of stunts and things. So episode 1,400 episodes later, we're going to be talking about what happened in the week of September 30th. And first thing was that the GRPC, the Gun Rights Policy Conference, is this weekend. And then we have a couple of things coming up on potential bills that people have been addressing this week or concerned about. HR 8882, an assault weapons license, and then something about ghost guns, a ban on ghost guns not being constitutional. So what I saw in my checking out this week. So I don't know if somebody got more information on them. Feel free to do something to get the word out on that. Otherwise, we'll dig into the Second Amendment focused stuff first. We'll scroll down a little bit and then we'll talk about some gun focused news. There's a couple of radio shows that have a good focus on what's going on that we'll chat about, and then we'll remind everybody about some of the stuff that we posted on our couple of different channels this week. I'm going to take a moment to jump over to the live chat, say hey to the people that are joining us live, DJs out there coming in, the 2A Roadie, DJ, if you see DJ Play Nice hanging out on your chat and you need someone to help out, be an ally, feel free to make DJ a moderator. You just click on his, well, if I was over here, I would click on his little three dots to the right of his thing and put in moderator, but he's already a moderator, so it won't happen. But thanks for being there, dropping links and the stuff that you do. Kingpin is out there, also very trustworthy and aware of how YouTube works. Thanks guys for showing up and being the first to join. FM, I'll just say it that way because I'm not trying to say that. Congrats on show number 14. Yeah, thank you. Didn't even realize it until I was typing it up, I think earlier yesterday or something. So pretty cool. Or maybe that was today. I don't remember when I put this together. Let's see. And then I was letting everybody know that we started the show a little bit early. I was on Gizzards' panel earlier. So I take the dog out between shows just in case this show goes long. I don't feel like it's going to go long today. Then we got G23 showing up, dropping some thumbs. Thanks for that. Then at some point, DJ says about this redirect tool. So it turns out that there's a way to somehow shove people from your live stream over to some other live stream. That's pretty interesting. That's almost like YouTube is creating tools to encourage community building. That's pretty awesome. So I'm glad to hear about that. It's neat when a new tool is discovered and shared. So you are, as far as I'm aware, in listening to right now, if you're in this live, you're in the first chat that's ever had somebody been redirected as far as a live show. If I'm wrong, I could be, but I'm probably not, because I pretty much never seen that before. But yeah, that's pretty neat. So thanks, Gizzard, for redirecting everybody over here, and thanks everybody who's watching from Gizzard's show. It looks like there's 2 of you, so that's amazing. Thank you. Let's see, we're gonna get in with the show here, or get into the description here. Suicide Prevention Saturday. Brooke Cheney does a consistent effort each Saturday to focus on suicide prevention. Remember that 2 out of every 3 deaths with a firearm are from suicide. So if we really care about saving lives, that's the most effective way to have useful conversations with either side, both gun owners and anti-gun owners. So very much thank you to Brooke for that consistent effort. It's always why it's the top of our list. Locked and Loaded Latinos do a consistent effort at putting out a live conversation with a focus on 2A. They're pretty focused on 2A. However, they've definitely let their show become much more steered or determined by the news of the week. And then now their interest in video games and toys and drones and stuff, is sort of divided those topics of the show, which is part of the interest that I have of it, because is that focus on 2A either stays or dissipates. It'll be curious. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But at this point, they're definitely, as far as the stuff I'm following, doing the least amount of preaching to the choir and the most amount of outreach compared to talking about how we should be outreaching, right? So Locked and Loaded does a pretty decent show. Then you got The Reload, which is a podcast / blog, I guess. They write a bunch of stuff and then they say it, or they say stuff and then write about it. Either way, they do it once a week. Turns out once a week is the way to go. I won't get into it. But they get into news of the day. I forget what it was about this week. It says somebody on a federal judge striking down the felony indictment gun ban. I don't remember if I listened to it, but I don't remember if I said anything about it. Riding Shotgun with Charlie had Chris Cheng on, and this is when they were together at Rick Ector's thing in Detroit. So it was interesting to listen to. Let's see. Reason TV had an article that I've discovered through San Diego gun owners, and this was the best thing all week. I don't know why I put it 4th in the list. I just wasn't paying attention. This should be at the top of the list, and I didn't put the actual links in here. I just have one of the links, but evidently Reason TV is conservative or gun friendly, or at least gun aware and impartial, and they offered, I guess, trying to remember if this was supposed to be new or if it was a new coverage of an old article or if it was something that somebody had just brought up recently about something that was old, but I'm not really sure. But it is something that I've been curious about recently, and that's the amount of coverage from the mass media to the murderers and some of the bullet points to this. Well, this is an article about some data, and it's a series of interviews with the person who collected the data. So it's a data set, and it's about the coverage of that data set and the interpretation of the numbers. And some of the bullet points from that are that the mass media, has spent more attention on murderers than it has on the Super Bowl or wars, period, all wars. And if I'm remembering that correctly, then that's certainly interesting. I'll be spending more time on that when I'm able to. I think that's an interesting aspect, an interesting vector to take on the antis, or at least have discussions about if it's truly an issue or if it's an issue that's created by hype. And we say that, but having data to back it up is something different. So we'll see if that's something that will catch on or not. Maybe it'll just go away. Depends. Then we got the overnight, Faas, who may or may not be out here right now, might be working, might be sleeping, who knows, hosts an overnight show with Baron. And that overnight show is every other week. So that's sort of a rare bird. You can only get it every other weekend. This weekend was the weekend, or last weekend was. So this weekend will be Baron. Next weekend we'll have one again. They do offer a Wednesday mouse party, which is a little bit different because it's less focused on firearms and more just general shooting the poop in the evenings on the evenings for us, overnights for y'all on the East Coast. Next up is you get Light Overheat with Professor Yamane, who's a professor from South Carolina, I think. And this is In Search of the Elusive Liberal Gun Owner in Deep Red Central Texas. You know, I post things that I'm not necessarily like jumping head over heels about, but it's interesting sometimes, or it's worth highlighting. And in this case, if you're interested in what a person who's in the community focused on the sociological aspects of gun ownership, I guess you could say, and you're interested in that person going to Texas and covering it, it's going to be interesting. I've certainly never seen anything like this before. So that's a way to check out another layer of the gun community. Then you've got the content creator formerly known as Budget Guns and Gear, and now calls himself MK Outdoor Journal for tax reasons. He did a crazy video where he talked about knife carry in the small of his back, and he condones that. So I think that's crazy and reckless. But I suppose if you never do yoga and you don't go horseback riding and you don't have rocks in your area and maybe you don't have issues with gravity, then it's okay. But I really don't like the idea of small of the back carry. I'm against it. Then we got Library Garrett throwing $5. I really appreciate that, considering, well, that's only $5 I think I made this week, so I really do appreciate that. Let's see. Then we've got Ohio Knife. That's the same thing I just did. Then we got John Lott. Posted a couple of different interesting little things. These are like seconds long. Some of them are 14 seconds long. What he does is he takes a scalpel and he chops out the anti-gun rhetoric in some of the primetime television, probably for some project he's doing or to, you know, be used in some PowerPoint or something. But they're interesting, and I don't watch TV, so it's an opportunity for me to see just the extract of the crazy bullshit that they do. Oh, I forgot about that. Thanks, DJ. So Professor Yamane, when is he just going to become a doctor already? Professor Yamane wrote a summary of his project that he's working on, that he's writing, which is a short version of the project he's working on, and that's what Barbecue is doing for the book club next week. In fact, right after John Lott's, the next thing is Barbecue's book club this month. They did Black Man with a Gun Revisited, which is Reverend Ken Blanchard's book. Pretty good book. That review was yesterday? Yeah. Then earlier this week, we had Clover chatted with Rebecca Schmoy with 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control. But I think of her more as the Kansas rep for the DC project and candidate for Kansas. I don't know what it is, some kind of politics in Kansas. So she's putting her money where her mouth is. She's running, and she's capable. She's able. She's inspirational, and she's in the banking industry, I guess. So she's, aware of. Well, she's capable. She's got lots of stuff to bring to the table, and her predominant focus is on education over legislation with firearms issues. So one of the few people at this point that's going from the DC project into politics, but do you think this is the last one? ? So are you optimistic, or are you paying attention? Then we got No Other Choice. Kevin Dixie was on with Clover also. He had a couple of different interviews this week. I missed that one live. I think I was right in the middle of doing one of my shows this week on top of his, and I went back and listened to it. It's pretty good, but the problem is when I listen to it in rerun, it's all glitchy. So I don't know if that's my machine or if it's my internet or Clover's fault. I'm going to say it's Clover's fault. So it was really difficult to listen to because of how glitchy it was. But I just had Kevin on talking, or KD on talking about stuff, and Clover and him talked about things in a different way, talked a little bit more about some angles. So it's worth listening to that one if you're interested in what KD's got going on. Toby from Cape Gunworks came on this week and did a gun laws in Massachusetts. We'll talk about that later. But in order to preface that or to begin that show, we showed this little 5-minute skit that they did to illustrate the nuance and the complexity, I guess, and the laborious effort that it takes to get well, you have to have a permit to own a gun, and then you have to now have a permit to carry a gun. It used to be two different things. Now they just made it a permit to carry. If you want to own a gun, you have to have a permit to carry. So they talks about the different layers and, again, all the stuff you have to go through. It's like many, many trips and many, many hours worth of effort to get to your permit in Massachusetts. AmmCon happened today. Then you got gun news. Let's see, we got Echo is out there still kicking, and he was filming a video in his backyard. So I'm hoping that Echo's having a good time with his new arrangement and situation. I think he ditched out of the Peninsula State just in time, it seems like. So none of his guns got rusty, hopefully. Then you got Kingpin, our own Kingpin. Sometimes he's out here. Here he's right here. Posted this thing about this little game. Super dangerous game where these kids take rubber bands and put them in this plastic holder that looks exactly like a gun. And then they shoot it at things that are innocent and the things knock over. It's super violent, but evidently he thinks that's tolerable for the youngins, and he posted a video about it, but you might want to check it out, see what you feel about it. Then you got She Fires doing a video about range tips. I'll tell you what, things are changing. Let's put it that way. There's no way in my day that you could walk in to do a video about range tips and hork on the safe. You know what I'm saying? Like this, whatever range she's going to has a safe, and she horks on the dial of the safe on the way in. Back in my day, they would put a piece of tape over that dial and be like, "Don't hork on our knobs." So anyway, that's one of the things I noticed right as she starts the video. I'm like, oh man, things are definitely different. Back in the day, you get yelled at if you just walk through a gun shop. And then nowadays, people just walk in with cameras and stuff. It's no big thing, different world. And I bring that up, not to say, back in my day, but to say that's a change that happened in front of everyone's eyes. And if you don't pay attention to those changes that happen inadvertently, they happen without actual intent, then you're not paying attention to the fact that we have the potential to change things with intent. And all it takes to change things is intent. So if everyone was focused on making a change, things would shift, and we would have a change in, if it's culture, if it's a change in etiquette, if it's a change in awareness. Those changes typically happen and we become aware of them and we think about it afterwards. But we have all the ability in the world to initiate those changes. We've done it with things like Hunter's Orange, and we've done it with things like safety. We've done it with things like awareness. So we can continue to do that. It's a matter of harnessing that element that makes us as gun owners better than people who have an interest in a hobby that isn't foundational as a civil right like firearms ownership. All right, so then we get to the Steel Challenge. So this is the girl from Armed and Styled doing a video about shooting a Steel Challenge match. And you're going to get multiple bangs for your buck there. One, you're going to see one of the girl channels that's winning. She's a girl channel that you could have, if you were paying attention, you had the opportunity to watch her start, experience, understand, learn, flourish. I don't know what to call it when she was just digging it. Then she got employed, and now time goes on, and now she's enduring, continuing to run her channel, and realizing that Steel Challenge is a thing, this far into her journey. And then she shares what Steel Challenge is in a way that's effective and useful. So if you're looking for what Steel Challenge is, you hear people talk about it, but you don't know what it is, bingo, you just found a video that's going to explain Steel Challenge pretty concisely. If you want to know what is happening with all these girl channels, and back in the day, girl channels were, some girl shooting something with a shirt on and they're shooting her shotgun or whatever. It's not like that no more. And if you want to see what these girls channels that are focused on just girls empowering each other's girls type of shit, then go check out this channel. It's one of the better girl channels, in my opinion. And then you see what it's like when someone who has been around guns long enough to become capable, is able to enunciate and describe a new experience. So stay tuned for a real treat. That's an awesome video. I don't love everything she does, but that's a really good one. I really dug it. Now we're getting, and I put that in 2A, or no, I put that in Gun News, I guess. Let's see, now we get to 2A radio shows. So there's about 4 radio shows that I listen to on the regular. 3 of them happen on Sunday. 1 of them happens on Wednesday. Well, Cape Gunworks happens on Wednesday, but they also do a show on Tuesday. Then there's 3 shows that happen Sunday. Come and Talk It is a gun shop in Austin that has a radio show, and they do their show. They broadcast their show and stream the broadcast. So they're live, streaming out to the world, and then live on YouTube at the same time. They're fun to watch. They sometimes jump in and look at the chat, and they read the chat, but they never interact with the chat on the air. Then you've got Eye on the Target Radio. That's a brother and sister team. Amanda is the sister, and she's the considered the first female-hosted syndicated radio show that's focused on firearms. And it's a radio show. So both of those, are broadcasting live to the air, which means that there's dead air. There's segments or sections of the show where they're broadcasting commercials, local commercials and stuff, and they don't stream those to YouTube, which is good because nobody wants to listen to commercials really. But they both handle their commercials differently, so it's an interesting thing, and you can usually drop the volume on one or the other, and they're almost always not doing commercials at the same time, so sometimes they overlap, and you can do a pretty good job of listening to one or both. Beyond that, Locked and Loaded will happen on Sundays, but then when these shows end, a third show starts, and that's the Gun Owners Radio out of California. It's a really good show worth listening to. It's 2 hours long. Also records on Sunday, broadcasts, I should say, on Sunday, and then streams the show while they're broadcasting. So on Sunday, you have the opportunity to listen to the broadcast of 3 shows that are going out live to Ohio, to Austin, Texas, and to San Diego, California. So it's a pretty neat thing you get to listen to live. Then on Wednesday, Cape Gunworks records their show. Their show gets recorded and then broadcast over the air at different times throughout the week. It's more of a syndicated model. So theirs is interesting because Toby does the most interactive of the shows. He'll, on both his 2A Tuesday segment of the Grace Curley Show, which is streamed live on YouTube, and the Wednesday show, he's able to incorporate the live conversation on YouTube along with the broadcast or the recording of the show, and it makes for a really interesting interactive thing where the internet is taken up and broadcast out to the internet or to the radio waves, and that doesn't happen, period. Like think about when that's happened. So pretty interesting group of things that's happened in 2022 as far as radio shows. This week, I'm not thinking of anything. Well, I probably could come up with some memories or something that was highlights from the week, but right now I'm just mentioning their shows, I guess, that they're worth listening to. Kingpin is saying, as a single man, I have to say that the new gun chicks might be fully closed, but they're still mostly good-looking women. Well, I think there's probably a tendency for people to, when they do their videos and stuff, to get all cleaned up for their video or whatever, but I don't know. Everybody's things are different than everybody. But is Shell famous and stuff? She kind of has been famous in circles, if you're talking about Armed and Styled. And then I don't have a poll going. I may or may not have lost interest in 2A today. Let's see. Then we've got the Polite Society podcast. Oh, that's the one I just said. So next we'll go to our stuff. So we did stuff this week. Value your voice as a 2A activist. So I got invited to post stuff to do something for AmmCon this year. They've never invited me because I usually rag on them. And this year they did invite me to do something for AmmCon, and then they never used it. So I posted it yesterday. So if you want to listen to my presentation for AmmCon that didn't get accepted, then you can listen to it. Then you've got the show that me and Toby did with Cape Gunworks. And that was turned into, a couple of hours worth of talking about Massachusetts gun laws. What I ended up doing is using the map of 2A poster and then going through those different maps, which are on different aspects of gun ownership. And I think that worked out pretty well. So I'm probably going to start a series like that. Well, I was going to start a series like that. We'll see if that happens. Then I lost my software for the 3D printing. That's probably what I'm gonna do after this. What time is it? The show's gonna be over quick, so I'll probably start learning some new 3D CAD software. But that was the beginning of learning FreeCAD, which is a free version of the software I was using. It's pretty shitty and clunky, but I went and watched a couple of videos this week, and I just didn't know how to use it. So I might be able to start using that one, I hope. One of the other things I did this week was harness the power of artificial intelligence. So it's no big deal. You know, I'm down with artificial intelligence now. What I did was take a bunch of pictures from Bannerman Castle and J.M. Davis Museum, and I colorized them. No big deal. I just used the power of robot dreams to make colors in black and white stuff. So that happened. Made a video about it. And then somebody was bitching about the ninja video. So I'm gonna play the ninja video from 2009. This is the kind of stuff we did back in 2009. Ninja weapons. We now bring the Ninja Glock to light. We're going to be taking a look at a completely plastic weapon. This is new issue Ninja quality. What we're looking at is a Glock with infrared light and cutting laser. We've got night vision infrared thermal optics. We've got both suppressed nuclear tungsten rounds, which are capable of firing at a fully automatic rate of fire. We also have the completely 100% plastic, poisonous plastic rounds, which of course can go through any metal detector and are also capable of firing at a fully automatic rate of fire. These are 100 round magazines. Going through some of the features of the Ninja Glock, we see that it has the infrared light, which you see here, only visible when we're using night vision. And next, they have the cutting laser, capable of cutting through any material on Earth instantly. We also have the infrared thermal optic with flip-up covers so that the lenses don't get scratched, and illuminated mil dot holographic red dot. So basically, looking through this tube will actually let you see through into the future, so you'll know where your round is going before you've even fired. It's a ninja technique. Below that are the infrared night vision sights. Basically, if any of these three dots are in a row, it has to do with astronomy or some ninja technique, and again, it makes the bullet go where it needs to go. You'll see that it's completely pimped out with chrome accessories, because that's how ninjas roll. And it also has a wide mouth here, because that's how ninjas also roll. One last feature on this Ninja Glock, of course, is the Ninja Cutouts. A lot of people wonder what those are for. Of course, they're there to basically, the ninja would play these Ninja Cutouts like a flute. You would put your fingers over there, and that would cause the bullet to maybe steer left or right in its path. So, hope you enjoyed the tour of this Ninja Glock. Not available in any stores. Perhaps if you know a ninja, you might be able to have one built by that ninja for you. Look at that, with the M over on the side, like underneath like that. That's classy. That's how you get 691,000 views. 2,000 thumbs up for 691,000 views. Come on, man. Almost 700,000 views, and I can only get 2,000 thumbs up on that. People demand more. See what kind of things we got, comments. We'll go to newest first. It's a shame this is edited, no version of the meat and wooden bullets. I'm pretty sure that was a different video. Pick this video up again. Take notes from this video. A flute. Legendary video. Are you a janitor or something? What? Oh, moron. Look at that guy called me a moron. Something about 8 years ago, somebody said I had to duel somebody. I haven't laughed so hard. Are you smoking? Dude, it's completely serious. Looking through this tube, you can see the future. Never look at the comments anymore. These are comments from 9 years ago. Is that a Glock 24? It is a Glock 24, yes. It was even more funny than actually taking this seriously. Exactly. And that's the thing. You think about 9 years ago, people that would come online would be like, well, I'm on the internet, so everything on the internet should be professional. I'm on the internet, for crying out loud. What are you doing? What are you doing out here? This is the internet, you kids. How do you keep your fingers on the flute holes? It's tough. You have to use a ninja technique. Some people seem to think of different reasons for making this video, I guess. If it's somehow making fun of tacti cool, or making fun of people that like their guns too much, or... And then every once in a while back in the day, because now we're 10 years back into the things, every once in a while people would get mad at each other and start fights in here. And then it was sad. And that's when I quit doing these, because it wasn't fun anymore. People started getting mad at each other and stuff. And I was like, I don't need to create things to get people mad at each other. But that was basically, you know, you make it was like work back in the old days. What year? What was probably 13? No, 9. I was just playing around, I guess. But by about 13 or whatever, it was like work. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna. I just would make these videos just because I got sick of doing regular videos. Anyway, there's an old ninja video. Let's see. The Toby show is really great. Thanks. So yeah, I'd like to have more shows like that. I don't know if that'll be possible considering what's happening, but we'll see. Maybe we will have more shows like that. Thanks everybody for showing up and being part of our show. It was a short one today, and maybe they'll all just be short like this. Let me know what you think. Give me some feedback if I get this out to different places and you're picking them up on those different places and you'd like to continue to see it out there. Let me know. I'm gonna have to be scheduling. I'm planning on scheduling my time during the week differently. So we'll see. I'll be using that feedback to determine how much time spent on sending this weekly show out to the various platforms. This one gets distributed more than any of the other shows each week. Of course, my goal is to get as much reach as possible for the shows that we're talking about. But, you know, whatever. So with that, thanks everybody for showing up. I don't know if there's anything happening after this. It's kind of late, so I'm not sure probably a bunch of people are heading out. Thanks again to Garrett. Really appreciate. Oh, you know what? It's a super chat. What am I doing? Let me take a second here to thank everybody who super chatted this week, or this month even. So why don't we take a quick listen to a chat that we do sometimes on Fridays. We used to do on Saturdays. Ask Gun Questions. AskGunQuestions.com is a website that we built back in 2007. And since then, for the last 15 years, people have been able to ask questions of simple to advanced nature, and we attempt to answer them in different ways over the years. Join us now as we start a new series to answer gun questions. Oh my goodness, it took me all this time just to get the freaking window open, and now I got to click on this again. Why is it taking so long? Do I have something open somewhere? Click on this, click on Studio. Eventually, I will get to the part where it tells me the number of people. So I'll open this up while I'm doing it. Still screen sharing? Yes. Supers is what they call it. And then random over here. I've got a golden bayonet, I think is what we're going to use today. So let's take a quick look at this golden bayonet. Where's my thing? Go to here and go to here. Is that looking at this? So this is a little bit bigger than the other ones. I tried to see as tall as I could make it. I don't know if I showed these online or not, but printed out in that material the Faas gave me, the Tutti Frutti material, and it got a couple of golden bayonets out of there. I'm going to give one to somebody, but the other one here is up for grabs tonight to one of the super chatters. So every once in a while, somebody throws us a super chat. We do appreciate it. We use that money to pay bills. In fact, there's a whole bunch of bills coming because it's the beginning of the month. Cutting into credit cards again to do that, and that sucks. So quit doing that pretty soon and do other things. But super chats will 100% be going to bills and nothing like buying guns or things like that. So we're going to look at the list of super chats, go to see all, and let's make sure that we got Garrett's in there. It doesn't. See, that's weird. Sometimes it puts the most recent one. The most recent one it says is from the 24th. So 6 days ago was the last one from Patriot. Thank you for that. So with Garrett's in here, let's see. We got, with Garrett's, we've got, I'm going to call his 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 super chats this month. So thank you for that. Let's go back to screen sharing over here. Where's my mouse? There we go. All right, so go to random. Oh, it's big already. Awesome. So we're going to flip this over to 18. Right up. So thanks again for the reminder. And this will be for that big giant golden bayonet. Number 9. So if he was 1, then that makes Midget 2, Ron 3, Gizzard 4, Krabby 5, Woods 6, Smeggy 7, Garrett 8, Mark 9. So it goes to Mark. Thank you very much, everybody who super chatted. 18 super chats. That's probably the rest of the super chats for this month. So I appreciate that. That's basically a super chat every other day. And that definitely, like I said, goes to bills and will help keep us not, being homeless, basically. So thank you for that. And with that, we'll wrap it up. Anybody that's still around, thank you for showing up and being part of the show. DJ threw a link out to ask gun questions. We'll probably have that, maybe have that coming back in the future. And with that, thanks again, and good time.
Tonight's episode, The Endangered Species.
Hey, did you know that you could help support our future projects and let everyone know you're a fan of what we do? Check out our print-on-demand store. We have a tab here on YouTube. When you click on it, you can choose from a bunch of different items. We have shirts and posters and coffee mugs. Click on the one you like. When you find the design you want to put on it, choose a color and a size if it's appropriate. And when you purchase these items, a portion goes to help fund our future projects. We really do appreciate your support. You get some cool stuff. When you get that stuff, post pictures here and on other platforms, and we'll hook you up next time you order from our Gear website store. Thank you for your support of gunwebsites.com. So let us know what you think. We'll be watching the comments wherever you find the video, over on gunstreamer.com or on guntube.org. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourages you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching gunwebsites.com.